Hi everyone, I'm here with Sham, who is the CEO of a company called BNS Media Limited. Thank you very much for being on
My pleasure.
Kemibaro.com. And Sham over here has a very interesting business in that he's basically built what I call an empire of Kenyan content websites, targeting a diverse range of areas such as Kila Kitu, which is classifieds, Auto Bazaar, which is in car dealerships and so forth online. But basically, Sham, maybe you can give us a bit of background about yourself. Where are you coming from? How did you get into this business? And then maybe we can go into some of the details about how BNS Media operates.
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. Actually, I'm Sham, and I am a Kenyan, just to be very clear.
Yeah.
I actually was in Canada in '97, and I had started working for a company called Trader Media Corporation, and they were a print company with 52 print publications, and my task was to take them online. Eventually, by 2004, we had built the largest automotive portal in Canada. We were actually generating $2.4 million every 2 weeks.
Really? At the
Yes,
time that
at
you
the
were there?
times. We were collecting 40,000 vehicles that would last for 2 weeks and charging $40. I went back in 2010 to visit, and now they're doing 4.8 million. So it's a highly
So
successful model.
it's a serious business.
Yes.
When you say that you were taking them online, I mean, what do you mean exactly? Does that mean you were the guy building the websites and?
Well, I was one of the first to start, and eventually, by the time I left, we had a full team assembled, and so everyone had their part. But I was everywhere. I had to do everything. I had to do a little bit of coding, a little bit of the marketing, a little bit of the web mastery, a little of the dealer relationships, understand the business inside and out, understanding the inherent qualities or intricacies of a print business, and how to translate it. So one complemented the other as opposing the other.
Okay.
And so they ended up working together and are both successful today.
Okay. And what got you into this space in Kenya? You know, the classifieds and so forth. How did you get into this?
Good question,
BNS
Matt.
Media.
I came back in 2004,
Yeah.
and this was to run the family business here. And strangely, I'm in the art business.
Okay.
And because I had this background, and I saw that the internet was coming and creeping up, classifieds came to mind. So I started buy and sell media in 2004 with
Mhm.
our flagship buyandsell.co.ke.
Okay.
And then quickly, soon after, realized that we needed an automotive portal, so I launched autobazaar.co.ke in 2005. And it has been going on since then, but of course now it's a much bigger site now.
Okay. So buy and sell is actually what, a classified site, or what is it exactly?
Buy and sell is, well, it used to be a classified site.
Okay.
We decided to use kilakitu.co.ke instead.
So you moved across to Kila Kitu.
We moved across.
Okay.
We felt Kilakitu had a much more local appeal, and I've always heard that. Wako na nini? Wako na Kilakitu.
Yeah. So guys, for those of you who might not speak Kiswahili, Kila Kitu basically means everything in Kiswahili. And it's quite, from that point of view, I think the name is more will resonate better, probably resonates better with the consumers who
Yes.
use it. And then tell us a bit more about the Auto Bazaar, because for me, when I think about your business, I think probably Auto Bazaar probably has the most visibility
Yes.
amongst all the different websites you've developed.
Correct, you're right. It is our number one site right now with the most viewers. In fact, we've just now crossed the threshold of we're the number 14 site in Kenya right now.
And this is according to
This is
Alexa,
Alexa.
Alexa.com. Okay.
Alexa.com. This is now .co.ke site, so
Okay.
we don't take into account any .coms,
Okay.
all .co.ke domains. And if you've noticed, all our sites are .co.ke.
Okay.
We believe in localization, and all our content is localized. Now, AutoBazaar is basically a classifieds listing site, but with multiple tools that a buyer can use, sellers can use, and it is free to list. We encourage people to do what they do, which is selling their vehicles. We'll offer the services behind it. We've also partnered with insurance companies, with finance companies, with banks, where a buyer can ask for quotations on a specific vehicle, can ask for insurance quotations on a specific vehicle. And
It's more than just looking at listings, it's also these back-end services, back-end technologies
Yes.
that support
that's
what users are trying to do on this particular
Yes, we
website.
want to simplify the process of buying a car. So you can essentially find your vehicle, select the vehicles you want through the compare tool. So you stream down to exactly the vehicles you're looking at, communicate with the seller, communicate with banks and insurance
Mhm.
directly, and sit back and let the banks compete for your business.
So how does that work? I mean, does that mean that the banks pay you for leads, or how does that work?
The banks pay us a monthly subscription fee. We don't get involved in the transaction.
Okay.
So they pay us just to receive the leads, and we guarantee them a certain amount of leads, which they do get. They also understand that they're competing with other banks, so they're on point to try to compete for your business. They'll try and give you a better rate than sometimes what they may even advertise.
Really, huh?
Yes.
And what about on the insurance side of things? Is it the same kind of model?
It is. The insurance side of things is very competitive, and so we know from our responses that our buyers have received some very dynamic. In fact, even our staff, our team, use that tool to gain their own insurance. They go through that, even though they're not buying a car off the site. They actually use the tool to communicate with insurance companies because they realize that they'll be more competitive. So it actually works.
So is that your main source of income? The lead, how should I call it?
Lead generation.
Pay per lead kind of thing.
Yes, it is right now one of our primary income generators. We also have an ad server, so businesses that would like to advertise on a local network pay us rather than paying Google or Facebook. Although we encourage them to advertise all over the place.
Okay.
We also are looking at, we have a clearing agent, 3 clearing agents that pay us for leads. If you want to import, they deal directly with an importer, and with insurance and financing as well, so they also pay. And then of course there's the ability to upgrade your listings if you're...
So premium listings,
Premium
you pay
listings.
for greater visibility,
Yes.
greater coverage through that particular particular platform,
Yes,
whether it's
sir.
Auto Bazaar or Kilakitu. Or
Yes,
others.
any of the platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to take 2 steps back and maybe tell us a little bit more about how you, you talked about a network. I mean, how many sites do you currently run?
Well, we currently have 25 websites.
So 25 local websites in
Local.
different types of focus areas.
Different focus areas, which gives us a very wide reach. In fact, we're the number 4 media company in Kenya, number 4 site in Kenya in terms of our reach.
Okay.
We're the number 1 online company in terms of our reach in Kenya. In November, we reached over 500,000.
It's November last year.
November of 2012, we reached over 500,000 visitors.
Okay.
In just November, we delivered over 3.5 million pages, or 4 million, I can't remember right now.
Okay.
Pages just that month alone.
So how does that compare with other sort of big local properties in Kenya? Like I'm just guessing here, Nation and Standard and the likes.
Well, we're catching up very, very quickly.
Really, yeah?
Yes.
So you're saying basically across the 25 properties,
Yeah.
you're generating as much visibility potentially as let's say the Nation?
Correct. In fact, that gives us an advantage because as an advertiser now, you can pick a target segment that you would like to appeal to. So you're not going to a general site that appeals to an assortment of people. You can go niche marketing if you want to do. If you have an automotive business, you can pick Auto Bazaar.
Okay.
But for example, on Kilakitu, there are vehicle listings that get transferred over to Kilakitu. So you can also advertise on this. So you know that every time somebody's looking for a car, they're able to see your ad, and your visibility is much greater and much more targeted.
Okay. And I mean, this is just me, my experience. I used to run Dealfish, which is now called OLX in
Yes.
Kenya. And that's still, I think, one of the top classified websites. I think for me, even when I was there, one of the big challenges was trying to establish, how to monetize. And although we had a plan, and I mean they're working that plan right now, you find a lot of the local content providers use, AdSense, which you and I know doesn't really pay that well.
No, it doesn't.
But ultimately, are you doing direct ad sales? Is that happening? Are you getting brands coming over, agencies, using your properties to actually generate income?
We do. In fact, mentioning ad sales, we've already thought about something like that. We're developing a tool for cyber cafes, where a cyber cafe owner will get paid directly from ad revenues.
Sitting on the desktop.
Sitting on the desktop.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And bearing in mind that the majority of Kenyans are actually working on mobile devices, how well have you developed your properties to serve mobile-friendly versions of your website?
Well, we currently do have, all our sites do have mobile. In fact, Auto Bazaar specifically has mobile, but it has the same tools that you see on the website. You can apply for insurance, financing, all of that through you can use our online vehicle finder, which communicates directly with all the dealers nationwide. We are actually, at the moment, also building a responsive template that will handle both.
Brilliant.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going responsive with everything.
And then do you have apps
Yes.
as well, mobile apps?
Yes, we're actually building, we have an iOS app that's in approval stage right now. We have an Android app that's just about to come out to be released, and of course we'll be putting that up on the site as well.
Another question I have for you, and again, this is just bearing on my own experience at Dealfish, a year and some back. We'd actually go out and send a team, to actually collect data for us from various dealers and so forth. Obviously, that's a cost. It costs a fair bit of money to get a team of 10 people going out and collecting data, keeping up to date. And I think it's one of the challenges of running these kind of businesses here, whereas in more sort of developed markets, you find that people actually would self-service rather than wait for somebody to come and pick up their content.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the content issues, the dealer may not have actually internet access, so may not have the resource in terms of people to do that.
Yeah.
So the question after is, how are you dealing with that? Because I mean, it's a serious cost center. I mean, you need to pay to get
Yes.
data into your platform. How are you addressing that? I mean, is that how you're doing it? Have you got people to the point where they're doing self-service? How are you dealing with it?
Well, the majority of ads currently placed are self-service, but we also realize there's a segment of the business market out there that, as you said, don't have the time, nor do they have maybe the
The
technology.
tech or the connectivity?
Yes,
yeah.
the connectivity.
Yeah.
They've expressed this to us. They want to be on AutoBazaar, for example, or on real estate or in Kilakitu, but they don't have the ability. So we thought about this and said, well, we're not a data management company. What we excuse me, would rather do is follow the Safaricom model.
Yeah.
We've interviewed and selected a select group of trained agents who will now visit the dealers and are territorial, so they have their territories. So there's one agent per territory, will handle roughly about 40 dealers, and for 2,000 shillings a month paid directly to the agent, they will handle all your data collection, that is entire inventory, entire data capture, and weekly management. So
Okay, so you basically outsourced this to independent agents.
So creating more employment
Okay.
or
brilliant.
self-employment.
Okay. So basically, that is no longer one of your core functions. You simply provide the guidelines.
Yes.
You recruit the agents, and they go out and do all this stuff on behalf of your platform.
Correct.
Or specifically AutoBazaar.
AutoBazaar,
Okay. So what are the plans? I mean, going forward. I mean, where do you see yourselves going in the next 2 to 5 years? What is the what's the game plan here? What's going to happen?
Well, I'm still young, so, so I have a lot I want to do still. I'm very excited about what we're doing. Our team is as well. We really like thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to be launching a TV channel soon, a web channel.
Yeah,
a web
really?
TV channel.
Okay. Live broadcasting?
Live broadcasting. We already do the live broadcasting with Autotalk. We have Nations Baraza JM as part of our, he's our resident expert. We've already done 3 webcasts with that, and we encourage viewers to call in and ask questions. We're reformatting the show. We've brought in more industry experts as well.
Okay.
So we'll have a panel of experts, and you'll be able to call in and ask questions. But we're doing the same for comedy. We're launching a karaoke site soon. That allows people to submit their singing talents, good or bad. They'll get voted on, and if it's really good, we're able to now introduce them to a music producer who will then offer them a music career. And so somebody who didn't have the courage now can, through their Android phone or through their mobile platform or their web, can actually now submit what maybe the best thing they ever did for the rest of their lives. This comedy is also the ability to do news.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much going across all these different genres and possibilities.
Media is no longer niche, it's all across the board, and we feel that it's important to cover every angle.
Play in that space as well.
Yes.
So let me ask you another question, and this is just me out of curiosity. You've got your business, you're essentially a locally based business. But we all know for a fact that you've got the MIHs, with the with OLX and Moncality and so forth. Then you have Ringier with Rupu and Pigami, and so you've got all these international players coming into Kenya, going into markets like Nigeria with massive resources, and you're competing against these big boys.
I'm David.
You could say so. I mean, what's different about your platforms? What sets you apart in the sense that you're going head to head here. You do have some massive traffic from what you've told me. Why use you? What sets you apart from this, sort of competition?
Well, for one, I believe that, I realize, of course, there are big budgets out there, and we cannot compete with those big budgets. So I rely very much on establishing a proof is in the pudding mentality. Develop a tool, develop products and services that actually get used, and encourage more and more people to use. And we've seen from our numbers that people are using this. For example, AutoBazaar has the average page view right now is 21 page views
per visitor,
which is I believe higher.
That's pretty high. Yeah.
That's very, very high. We have an average of 40 minutes being spent per user on our site, which is much higher than any. And these are available stats on Alexa. This tells us
And
that
what is driving that utilization? What do you think
it's all the tools and services. People coming to our site are seeing AutoBazaar as
the
a
tools and
service.
services? Can you elaborate further?
Well, for example, the detail we collect on a vehicle allows users to really look at a vehicle before they even visit a dealer lot, before they even decide to communicate. Our compare tool, the side-by-side compare tool, is unmatched in Kenya today. And you're able to...
So you can actually compare two cars and look at all the specs right there on the side?
You can compare even up to 10 cars,
Really?
side by side, yes, and pick and choose and eventually narrow your search down. So time is spent on research. We find that buyers are researching and selecting and spending time doing that until they...
So value-added tools are driving more engagement,
more engagement.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and so we find that that's happening. And plus, we do moderate heavily our ads, so we make sure there's no duplication.
Yeah.
That all the details are collected. We don't approve any ads that don't have enough information, so we'll actually call the advertiser.
How do you handle expiries? I remember that being a big issue when I was at Dealfish.
The expiries happen every 3 months, so you will not find an old ad on the site, and nor do you find duplication.
So it's fairly fresh content
It's
at
fresh
any
content.
given point.
Uh,
So you don't actually renew an ad, you have to put in a fresh ad.
It expires. We send the dealers out. In fact, we emulated the model after Dealfish.
Really, yeah?
The Dealfish refresh your ad tool.
Okay,
We said
okay.
that's a fantastic tool, so we said we should also have that. But what we do is, if it's not refreshed, it falls off the list.
Okay.
You have the ability to come back, but you cannot replace the same ad. You can view the same ad and then say, I'd like to copy this ad. Now you can make the adjustments that you need to, but all photos have to be fresh. So we try to ensure that the buyer has a good experience, that it's viable content. If an ad is sold, it's a very simple process for a seller. They receive an email weekly, and they can just click a button that says sold, and it'll update the site automatically.
Excellent. So these value-added tools basically drive engagement and ultimately, keeping an engaged audience throughout the site. There's something you mentioned to me earlier when we had a discussion. You talked about Power Pages. Can you tell me a bit more about your Power Pages? What is that exactly?
Power Page is a phenomenal product. Power Page is essentially for any business, and this could be anyone, and it's across all our sites. So you could be a car dealer, you could be somebody selling clothing out of your house in South Sea.
Yeah.
You have the ability to register your business. It's free to register. You set up your profile. It's not HTML driven. There's no webmaster requirement. It's simply a form. It's simply a form. You upload one logo. We'll edit it. You upload one image for your homepage. You put in some text, and you then fill in fields like phone number, address, whatever you would like to put in there. If you have Facebook's social links, LinkedIn, you can place your links in there. And all of this will then translate to creating an automatic website with all your content in there.
So it's almost like a build-it-yourself website.
Without having any webmaster or HTML
Okay.
requirements. It's meant for the layman. We realize that you don't maybe have the technology skills.
So what happens once the site is up? I mean, what else can you do with it?
Well, we market that through our sites, of course.
So you use your network of sites to then build visibility for those
Yes, for the
pages.
individual.
And users pay for that visibility?
They don't pay for anything for it. It's free. It's
Uh-huh.
entirely free. And we also do one more thing, and that is we give you an automatic mobile version of your Power Page. So people know where your business is, who you are, what your philosophy is, your inventory. In fact, and it's site specific. So if you're an AutoBazaar dealer and you get a Power Page, there's a book a test drive form that automatically generates, and you can actually say, I would like to come and see this car and book a test drive for it. If it's a real estate agency, you will get, I would like to view this property. If it's Kilakita, for example, you will have a form that is, I would like to reserve this item. We're slowly adding e-commerce into this. We're working with the likes of some of the big companies like Kraft Silicon to build now an e-commerce platform behind this that will allow you to sell directly your products directly from your Power Page. And